Hello everyone. Before we start, make sure to like and subscribe to the channel and leave a comment with where you're from and what time you're watching. That way, YouTube will keep showing you stories just like this one. Now, let's begin. I've driven across this country more times than I can count. Long hauls, cross-country moves, road trips that blur together after a while. You get used to the rhythm of it. The hum of the engine, the white lines on the asphalt, the fluorescent glow of rest stops in the middle of nowhere. They all look the same after dark. Same concrete buildings, same vending machines, same sense that you're the only person left in the world. This happened on I-40, somewhere in rural Arkansas. I'd been driving for 9 hours straight, leaving Colorado and heading toward Nashville. It was around 2 in the morning and my eyes felt like sandpaper. I knew I needed to stop, at least for a few minutes. Maybe splash some water on my face. Maybe close my eyes for just a second. The rest stop appeared like they always do. Sudden, lit up against the darkness like some kind of beacon. I pulled off the highway and into the parking lot. It was nearly empty. Just a semi-truck parked way at the far end, probably a driver catching sleep in the cab, and one sedan closer to the building. A dark blue or gray sedan, hard to tell under those orange lights. I parked a few spaces away from the sedan, turned off my engine, and just sat there for a moment. The fluorescent lights above were buzzing, that electric hum that gets into your skull. The air smelled like cleaning chemicals and stale coffee, that distinct rest stop smell that's the same in every state. Humid, too. Arkansas humidity, even at night. I grabbed my phone and headed inside. The building was quiet. Too quiet. My footsteps echoed on the tile floor as I walked to the bathroom. No one else around. No sounds of hand dryers or running water. Just me and that buzzing light overhead. The bathroom was empty. Every stall door hung open except one at the very end, but I didn't hear anyone in there. I used the urinal, washed my hands quickly, and got out. Something about that silence bothered me, made my skin crawl in a way I couldn't explain. When I walked back outside, I noticed the sedan had moved. I stopped mid-step, keys in my hand, staring at it. It was now parked 2 spaces closer to my car, not directly next to mine, but closer, 2 spaces that hadn't been empty before. Maybe I'm just tired, I told myself. Maybe I didn't notice where it was parked. But I knew. I remembered exactly where it had been. I got into my car and locked the doors immediately. Muscle memory, I guess. I sat there for a moment, checking my phone, scrolling through messages I'd missed, trying to convince myself I was being paranoid, just tired, just jumpy from too much time on the road. I looked up from my phone maybe 5 minutes later. The sedan had moved again. This time it was parked directly across from me. Perfect alignment, like someone had measured the distance and positioned it deliberately. I could see the silhouette of someone sitting in the driver's seat. Just a dark shape behind tinted windows. Not moving. Just sitting there. My heart started pounding. That sick feeling in your stomach when you know something's wrong but you don't know what yet. I stared at the sedan. The person inside didn't move, didn't shift, didn't do anything, just sat there, and I had the overwhelming feeling they were staring right back at me. I started my engine. The moment I did, the sedan's headlights turned on. Bright, sudden, cutting through the darkness. I threw my car into reverse, backed out slowly, trying to stay calm. The sedan pulled out at the same time. Smooth, deliberate, like we were synchronized. I pulled back onto the highway, hoping, praying, they were just leaving at the same time. Coincidence? Bad timing, nothing more. But the sedan followed. Not close. Not tailgating. They stayed back maybe 5 or 6 car lengths, perfect distance. Not trying to pass. Not falling behind, just there. Mile after mile, the headlights stayed in my rearview mirror. Constant, unwavering, like they were tethered to me. I changed lanes. They changed lanes. I sped up. They sped up. I slowed down to 60. They slowed down. 15 miles. 15 goddamn miles of this. My hands were sweating on the steering wheel. My mind was racing. What do they want? Are they just messing with me? Are they going to try something? I saw a sign for an exit coming up. A gas station. I didn't recognize the name, didn't care. I just needed people. Lights. Witnesses. I took the exit fast, maybe faster than I should have. The sedan followed. The gas station was bright, fluorescent lights everywhere, a couple of cars at the pumps, someone walking inside the convenience store. Normal. Safe. I pulled into the lot and parked right under a light, close to the entrance. The sedan didn't pull in. It slowed down at the entrance, then circled the parking lot. Slow. Deliberate. Like they were inspecting me. Deciding. That's when I saw him clearly for the first time. Middle-aged man, pale face, short hair, completely expressionless. He looked right at me as he circled. No emotion, no anger, no curiosity, nothing. Just staring with that blank face that made my blood run cold. Then he drove away. Back toward the highway. Gone. I sat there in my car, engine running, hands shaking. I waited 30 minutes. I went inside the gas station, bought a coffee I didn't drink, talked to the cashier about nothing just to hear another human voice. Kept looking out the window to make sure that sedan didn't come back. When I finally got back on the highway, I checked my mirrors every few seconds for the next 100 miles. I didn't see him again. I still don't know what that man wanted. I don't know if he was just bored and messing with me or if he had something worse in mind. I think about it sometimes late at night when I'm driving. I think about what would have happened if I'd done what I originally planned, pulled into that rest stop and fallen asleep in my car with the seat reclined. I think about waking up, to tapping on my window, to that expressionless face pressed against the glass. I don't sleep at rest stops anymore. If you're still listening, you probably enjoy stories like this. A like or a comment helps keep them alive. This happened 3 years ago during Christmas. My girlfriend Sarah and I were driving from Minneapolis to her parents' place in Rapid City for the holidays. It's not a terrible drive, maybe 6 hours if the weather's good. But that year, the weather wasn't good. We left early, around 4 in the morning, trying to beat a storm that was rolling in from the west. We didn't beat it. By the time we hit I-90 in South Dakota, snow was coming down hard. The kind of snow that makes your headlights useless, just reflecting white back at you. Visibility was maybe 20 feet. Sarah was asleep in the passenger seat, and I was gripping the steering wheel so hard my knuckles were white. I'd been driving for almost 3 hours in those conditions, and I was exhausted, tense. My shoulders ached from hunching forward, trying to see the road. That's when I saw the sign for a rest stop. 1 mile ahead. I took the exit, probably too fast, but I needed to stop. Needed to breathe. Maybe wait out the worst of the storm. The rest stop parking lot was nearly empty. Just one semi-truck parked near the back, barely visible through the snow. I pulled into a spot close to the building and turned off the engine. The sudden silence was almost deafening after hours of wind and road noise. Sarah woke up, blinking. Where are we? Rest stop. I need a bathroom break. You want to come in? She nodded, pulling her coat tighter. Yeah, I could use one too. The building was old, older than most rest stops I'd seen. Concrete block construction, small windows, those industrial lights that make everything look yellow and sickly. When we opened the door, the smell hit us immediately. Mildew, damp, like the place hadn't been properly cleaned in years. The lobby area was small, a couple of vending machines, some plastic chairs arranged around a wall-mounted TV, bathrooms on either side, and in those plastic chairs sat a family, a mom, a dad, and 2 kids. The kids looked maybe 8 or 10 years old. A boy and a girl. They were just sitting there, completely silent, all 4 of them staring at the TV on the wall. The TV wasn't on. Sarah and I exchanged a glance. Something about the scene felt wrong immediately, but I couldn't put my finger on what. They were just a family, just people waiting out the storm like us. Except they weren't moving at all. Not fidgeting, not talking, not even blinking as far as I could tell. Just staring at that dark screen. And they were wearing summer clothes. T-shirts, shorts. The little girl was wearing sandals in the middle of a blizzard. No coats anywhere. No bags. Nothing. "Bathroom," Sarah whispered, touching my arm. I nodded and headed to the men's room while she went to the women's. The bathroom was just as old and grimy as the rest of the place. Cracked tiles, rust stains, a fluorescent light that flickered every few seconds. I did what I needed to do as quickly as possible and went back out. The family was still there. Still, in the exact same positions. But now, they were standing. All 4 of them. Standing in front of their chairs, facing the hallway where the bathrooms were. Facing me. My heart kicked into a higher gear. I stopped walking, frozen in place. They weren't doing anything threatening. They were just standing there, side by side. The parents in the middle, kids on either end. All of them staring at me with completely blank expressions. "Hey," I said, trying to sound casual. Normal. "Storm's pretty bad out there, huh?" No one responded. They just kept staring. Sarah came out of the women's bathroom a moment later and immediately stopped when she saw them. I felt her move closer to me. "We should go," she whispered. I nodded, and we started walking toward the exit. Not running, not yet, just walking with purpose. That's when the dad spoke. "You shouldn't drive in this weather." His voice was flat, monotone, like he was reading from a script he didn't care about. I turned back. All 4 of them were still standing in the same position, but their heads had turned to follow us. The movements were stiff, mechanical almost. "We'll be okay," I said. "Thanks." "It's not safe," the mom said. Same flat tone, same emotionless delivery. "It's safer to wait here. With us." The kids said nothing. They just kept staring with those blank, empty eyes. Sarah's hand found mine and squeezed hard. "We're good," she said, voice tight. "We're leaving." I pushed open the door, and the cold wind hit us like a wall. Snow was coming down even harder now, if that was possible, but I didn't care. We practically ran to the car. As I fumbled with my keys, my hands were shaking, Sarah grabbed my arm. "Look." I looked up at the building. All 4 of them were pressed against the windows. Faces against the glass, hands flat on either side of their heads, just watching us. Their breath wasn't fogging the glass. I noticed that detail even through my panic. In that cold, their breath should have been fogging the glass. It wasn't. "Drive," Sarah said. "Just drive. Now." I started the car, threw it into reverse, and got us the hell out of there. The roads were terrible, probably the worst conditions I'd ever driven in, but I didn't care. I wasn't staying at that rest stop another second. As we pulled back onto the highway, I checked the rearview mirror one last time. All 4 of them were standing outside now, in the parking lot, in the blizzard. No coats, just standing there in their summer clothes, watching our tail lights disappear into the snow. Not moving, not shivering, just standing. We didn't talk for almost an hour. We were both too shaken. When we finally did speak, Sarah was the first. "Their car," she said quietly. There was no car. She was right. I'd noticed it too, but hadn't processed it in the moment. The only vehicles in that parking lot were the semi-truck and ours. No other car. No van. Nothing. So how did that family get there? We made it to her parents' house eventually. I checked online later that week for any news about a missing family in South Dakota. Nothing. I looked up that specific rest stop on Google Maps, tried to see if anyone had left reviews mentioning anything strange. The rest stop exists. People use it. No one mentioned anything unusual. But I can't stop thinking about those summer clothes in the middle of winter, about the way they stood outside in the blizzard without moving, about their breath that didn't fog the glass. Sometimes I wonder if that rest stop is still there, if that family is too, just waiting, staring at that TV that doesn't work, waiting for the next people who stop. I travel a lot for work. Sales rep for a medical equipment company, which means I spend about half my life on the road, driving from hospital to hospital, clinic to clinic. After a while, you get used to it. The motels, the fast food, the long stretches of highway that all look the same. You also get used to rest stops. They become these weird little refugees. Places to stretch, use the bathroom, grab a terrible cup of coffee from a vending machine. This happened on I-80 in Nebraska. Middle of nowhere, Nebraska, where the highway cuts through endless fields and the sky seems bigger than it should be. It was early afternoon, maybe 2 o'clock, and I'd been driving since 7 that morning. I needed a bathroom break badly. The rest stop appeared after about 20 miles of nothing. Standard setup, parking lot, concrete building, informational signs about local attractions. Nothing special, nothing that stood out. I pulled in, parked, and headed inside. The building was older, probably from the 70s, with that institutional beige tile and cinder block walls. A few other people were milling around. A couple with 2 kids, an older man reading a newspaper in one of the plastic chairs, a woman getting something from the vending machine. Normal. Completely normal. I walked toward the men's room and stopped. There was a yellow caution sign blocking the entrance. Restroom closed for cleaning. I looked around for another bathroom. There had to be another one, right? These places always have backup facilities. Lower bathrooms open. I turned. An older maintenance worker was standing there, maybe 65 or 70, wearing a worn gray uniform with a name patch I couldn't quite read. He pointed toward a corner of the building I hadn't noticed before. Through that door, down the stairs, bathrooms in the basement level. I looked where he was pointing. There was a door, partially hidden behind a pillar, with no signage. Just a plain metal door, painted the same beige as everything else. Basement level? I asked. Yeah, old design. They built these buildings funny back in the day. He shrugged. It's clean. Just finished mopping down there. I really needed to go. I didn't want to wait around for the main bathroom to reopen, and I definitely didn't want to get back on the highway and hope for another rest stop. All right, thanks. I walked to the door and pulled it open. Concrete stairwell. The smell hit me immediately. Dampness, mildew, and something else underneath. Something metallic, like copper or iron. The stairs were steep and poorly lit. Just a single bulb halfway down, casting more shadows than light. My footsteps echoed as I descended. The basement hallway was worse. Low ceiling, concrete walls that looked water-stained, and a single flickering fluorescent bulb at the far end. It was cold down there, much colder than it should have been. The bathroom was at the end of the hallway, just one door, old wood that looked like it had been painted over multiple times. The layers were peeling in places, showing different colors underneath. I pushed it open. Single toilet, single sink, no windows. The light inside was dim, just a bare bulb hanging from the ceiling. The room smelled like bleach, but underneath that was the same metallic smell from the stairwell. The door didn't lock properly. The mechanism was broken, just spun uselessly when I tried to turn it. I considered going back upstairs, but I really needed to go. I'd be quick. I used the toilet as fast as I could. The whole time I had this crawling feeling on the back of my neck, like I was being watched, like I shouldn't be down there. That's when I heard the footsteps. Heavy, slow, deliberate, coming down the hallway outside. I froze, listening. The footsteps stopped right outside the bathroom door. Then the handle started to shake. Someone was trying to open the door, rattling the handle hard. The broken lock mechanism spun and clicked uselessly. "Occupied," I called out, my voice sounding too loud in that small space. No response. The handle kept shaking, harder now, more violent. "Someone's in here." Nothing. Just that relentless shaking of the handle. My heart was pounding so hard I could hear it. I finished up as fast as I could, pulled my pants up, and stood there with my hand against the door, holding it closed since the lock didn't work. The shaking stopped. I waited, listening. The footsteps retreated back down the hallway. Slow and heavy, just like before. I counted to 10, then pulled the door open fast. The hallway was empty. Completely empty. But at the far end, I saw the stairwell door closing. Just a glimpse of movement, then nothing. I ran. I didn't care how it looked. I sprinted down that hallway, took the stairs 2 at a time, and burst through the door into the main level. The maintenance worker was standing right there, right in front of the door, like he'd been waiting. His expression was strange. Not quite a smile, but something close, something knowing. "Everything okay down there?" he asked. I didn't answer. I just pushed past him and headed straight for the exit. My hands were shaking as I walked to my car. I sat in the driver's seat for a full minute before I could even start the engine. My heart was still racing. I looked back at the building, trying to calm down, trying to convince myself it was nothing. Just another visitor, just someone who didn't hear me. That's when I saw it. At ground level, barely visible, there was a small basement window. Just a narrow rectangle of glass at the base of the building. There was a face pressed against it, looking up at me, watching. It wasn't the maintenance worker. I couldn't see the face clearly through the dirty glass, but I could see the outline, the shape of someone crouched down there in that basement, face pressed against the window. I started my car and drove away, fast. I've thought about it a lot since then. There's no legitimate reason for a rest stop to have a basement bathroom, especially with no signs, no proper lighting, no accessibility. Why would they build something like that, and why would a maintenance worker send people down there? I think something was waiting in that basement, something that maintenance worker knew about, maybe participated in. I think I barely avoided something terrible that day. I've never used a basement bathroom since. I don't care how badly I need to go. If the main bathroom is closed, I'll wait, or I'll hold it until the next stop. Because I can't stop thinking about those heavy footsteps, about the way that door handle shook, about that face in the window watching me leave, waiting for the next person to come down those stairs. I used to think I understood people. I grew up in a small town where everyone knew everyone, where you could trust your neighbors, where strangers were just friends you hadn't met yet. That kind of naive, wholesome bullshit that gets beaten out of you the first time something truly scary happens. This was that moment for me. It was late October, maybe 3 years ago. I'd driven down to Kansas City to see a concert. One of those bands I'd loved since high school finally touring through the Midwest. The show ran late, and by the time I got on the road heading home to Omaha, it was almost midnight. I should have stayed in Kansas City for the night. Should have gotten a hotel. But I was young and stupid and convinced I could make the 3-hour drive without any problems. By the time I hit I-70 in rural Kansas, I was exhausted. My eyes kept trying to close. I'd finished my coffee hours ago, and the energy drink I'd chugged after the concert had worn off. The white lines on the road were starting to blur together. I saw the rest stop sign and took the exit without even thinking about it. I'd just closed my eyes for 30 minutes, maybe an hour, just enough to recharge. The parking lot had several semi-trucks scattered around, their running lights glowing in the darkness. A few cars here and there. Normal late-night rest stop scene. I parked away from the others, closer to the edge of the lot where it was darker. Locked all my doors, reclined my seat, and closed my eyes. I don't know how long I was asleep. Maybe 20 minutes, maybe less. I woke up to tapping on my window. Not gentle tapping, deliberate, insistent, knuckles on glass. I sat up fast, my heart already pounding before I was fully conscious. It was dark outside, darker than it should have been. It took my eyes a moment to adjust. There was a man standing outside my driver's side window. Big guy, probably 6'2", 6'3". Heavy build, thick beard, wearing a worn denim jacket over a flannel shirt. He looked like a trucker, looked like 100 other truckers I'd seen at places like this. But something about his eyes was off. I cracked my window. Just an inch. Just enough to hear him. "Hey, sorry to wake you," he said. His voice was rough, like he'd been smoking for 40 years. "My phone died. I need to call dispatch. Can I borrow yours for a minute?" It seemed reasonable. Truckers have schedules. Dispatchers need updates. It made sense. But something in my gut told me not to. "Sorry," I said. "My battery's almost dead too." It was a lie. My phone was at 70%. He didn't move, just stood there, staring at me through that 1-inch gap in my window. "Come on, man. Just for a minute. It's important." "I really can't. Sorry." His expression changed. Subtle, but I saw it. The friendly concern dropped away and something colder took its place. "Let me sit in your car for a minute, then. It's cold out here." My blood went cold. That wasn't a reasonable request. That wasn't normal. "No, I can't do that." "Why not?" "Just for a minute. Just to warm up." He wasn't asking anymore. His tone had changed, harder, more demanding. I started my engine. The sound was loud in the quiet parking lot. "I have to go," I said. His hand went to my door handle. He tried to pull it. Once. Twice. The lock held, but my heart was trying to punch through my chest. "Open the door," he said. Not asking. Telling. I threw the car into reverse. As I did, I saw him reach into his jacket. I didn't wait to see what he was pulling out. Phone, knife, gun. I didn't care. I just needed to get away. I backed up fast, cranked the wheel, started to pull forward toward the exit. That's when the other trucks turned on their lights. 3 semi-trucks, parked at different spots around the lot, all turned on their headlights at the same time. All pointed at my car, blinding me. And from those trucks, 3 more figures emerged. Men, walking toward me. They weren't running. They were walking with purpose. Coordinated, like they'd done this before. I floored it. My tires squealed as I shot across the parking lot. I didn't take the normal exit. I jumped the curb at the entrance, heard something scrape under my car. I didn't care. I just needed to get back on the highway. I checked my rearview mirror as I merged back onto I-70. The 4 figures were standing in the parking lot, lit up by those truck headlights, watching me go. I didn't stop again for 2 hours, not until I reached a brightly lit gas station on the outskirts of Topeka, full of people pumping gas and buying snacks. Normal people. Safe people. I sat in that gas station parking lot for 30 minutes, shaking. Drinking a bottle of water I'd bought just to have an excuse to be inside around other humans. I've thought about it a lot since then. about what that trucker wanted, about why there were others waiting, about how coordinated it all seemed. He never actually asked for help that would require my phone specifically. He asked to get inside my car. That was always the goal. And those other truckers, they were in on it. Waiting. Ready. I don't know what they were planning. I don't know what would have happened if I'd unlocked that door, or if I'd been too tired to wake up when he first approached. Sometimes I think about other people who might have stopped there that night. People who weren't as suspicious. People who were too trusting, too tired to think clearly. I wonder what happened to them. I'll never sleep at a rest stop again. I don't care how tired I am. I don't care if I have to pull over on the shoulder of the highway with my hazards on. I'll never park in one of those lots and close my eyes, because I know now that sometimes the people there aren't just fellow travelers. Sometimes they're hunters, and they're very patient. Some experiences mess with you in obvious ways. Jump scares, close calls, near misses. You know what happened, even if it scared the hell out of you. You have a memory, a narrative, a before and after. But the worst experiences are the ones where you lose time, where something happened and you just don't remember, where there's a gap and your mind can't fill it in no matter how hard you try. This happened to me on I-95 in Virginia, rural Virginia, where the highway cuts through forests and small towns with names you forget immediately. My friend Marcus and I were driving down to Florida for spring break, splitting the drive over 2 days. We'd been on the road for about 6 hours, and it was getting dark. Not late, maybe 7:15. That transitional time when the sun has set, but there's still some light in the sky. "I need to pee," Marcus said. "Next rest stop?" "Yeah, sure." The rest stop appeared about 10 minutes later. We'd used it before on previous trips. It was familiar, which was comforting. We knew the layout, knew where the bathrooms were, knew where the vending machines were located. The parking lot was moderately busy. Not packed, but not empty either. Families, truckers, couples, solo travelers, normal evening crowd. Marcus headed straight for the vending machines while I went to the bathroom. The bathroom was fine, normal. I went to use a stall and noticed all the doors were closed, every single one. But I didn't hear anyone. No water running, no toilet flushing, no sounds of movement. Just silence. It bothered me in a vague way, but I used the middle stall, did my business, washed my hands, and left. The whole time, none of the other stall doors opened. No one came out. When I walked outside, Marcus was waiting by the car. He looked confused. "Dude, where the hell were you?" "What do you mean? I was in the bathroom. For an hour. I was about to come looking for you." I stared at him. "What are you talking about?" "I was in there for like 5 minutes. He held up his phone. 8:17 p.m. We'd pulled into the rest stop at 7:10. I checked the time right before getting out of the car. Over an hour had passed. "That's not possible," I said. But even as I said it, I felt something wrong. Something off in my body, a strange taste in my mouth. Metallic, like I'd been chewing on pennies. My head hurt. Just a dull ache behind my eyes, but it hadn't been there before. "I don't know what to tell you, man," Marcus said. "You went in and you didn't come out." I got snacks, checked my phone, played a game, waited. I was seriously about to go in after you. I got into the passenger seat. My hands were shaking slightly. I don't remember being in there that long. We sat in silence for a moment. Then Marcus turned to me, his face serious. "Did something happen? Did someone—" "No, nothing happened. I used the bathroom. I washed my hands. I left." But even as I said it, I wasn't sure. There was something foggy about the memory, like trying to remember a dream that's slipping away. "Let's just go," I said. Marcus started the car. As we pulled toward the exit, he suddenly grabbed my arm. Wait, look. I followed his gaze to the rest stop building. All the lights were off, every single light. The building looked abandoned. Dark. Empty. That's not right, Marcus whispered. It had been fully lit just moments ago. People had been inside. Families. Travelers. We'd seen them. Now it looked like it had been closed for years. What the fuck? I breathed. Marcus hit the gas, and we peeled out of that parking lot faster than we should have. As we merged back onto the highway, I looked back. The parking lot was empty now. Completely empty. No cars, no trucks, nothing. It had been half full when we'd pulled in. We drove in silence for almost an hour. Neither of us knew what to say. What had just happened? What could we even say about it? My head kept throbbing. That metallic taste wouldn't go away. I went to rub my neck and felt something. Stop the car, I said. What? Pull over. Now. Marcus pulled onto the shoulder. I turned on the interior light and tilted the rear view mirror so I could see the back of my neck. There was a small cut there. Fresh. Maybe half an inch long. Right at the base of my skull. What the hell is that? Marcus said, leaning over to look. I don't know. I hadn't had that cut before. I was sure of it. I'd gotten a haircut just 2 days earlier. I would have noticed, and I noticed something else. Under my fingernails. Dirt, dark dirt, like I'd been digging in soil. My nails had been clean. Marcus, I said quietly, I think something happened to me in there. I think I lost an hour, and I don't know what happened during it. We drove straight through to Florida. Didn't stop again except once at a well-lit gas station with dozens of people around. I didn't sleep that night. Couldn't. The cut healed within a few days. The dirt came out when I showered. The metallic taste eventually went away, but I still don't remember that hour. I've tried. I've sat in quiet rooms and tried to force the memory back. Tried to remember what happened in that bathroom, why all the stalls were closed, what I did with that missing time. Nothing comes back. It's just gone. Sometimes I wonder if it's better that I don't remember. Sometimes I think maybe my brain is protecting me from something. Some experience too terrible to recall. Other times, late at night, I catch myself touching that spot on my neck where the cut was. And I wonder what they did to me, who they even are. I wonder if part of me is still in that rest stop, in that basement or that bathroom or wherever the hell I actually was during that missing hour. I wonder if I'll ever get it back, or if something else got put in its place. Some say the roads we travel are safe. That rest stops are just pit stops, nothing more. Places to stretch, to breathe, to reset before moving on. But I know better now. We all should. Because sometimes those stops aren't resting places. They're hunting grounds, traps, doorways to things we can't explain and memories we'll never recover. Next time you pull off the interstate at 2 a.m, alone with no other cars around. Pay attention. Watch the shadows. Notice who's watching you from their car. Question why you're the only one there, or why everyone else seems wrong somehow. Trust that feeling in your gut that tells you to leave. That primal instinct that kept our ancestors alive. Because it might just keep you alive too. And if you ever lose time, even just a few minutes you can't account for, maybe it's better not to dig too deep. Some questions are safer left unanswered. Thanks for listening. And remember, the road is always watching.